You're shocked that I'm on. It's Tuesday. It's almost 8 o'clock. There's nothing better to do right now. It's just time. It is time to get into what's going on with this waiver wire action before all your players come in tomorrow. It's Tuesday. I mean, what more do you want? It's absolutely Tuesday, 8 p.m. Nothing's changing. I guess there's some other stuff going on today, but, that's irrelevant to me. So let's get into it.
You are now tuned into the Panther Nation podcast.
Delhomme fires to an open Smith. Steve Smith is going to go all the way. No flag down. Smith scores, and the Carolina Panthers win in overtime.
Seal, he's intercepted by Keekly. Keekly inside the 20 to the 10 and to the end zone for another Panthers.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Dave voted by mail. Nah, Dave voted early, 3 weeks ago. But let me pop out this chat real quick. I have no problem kicking the tires as long as it's cheap, Grandizer. I have no interest overpaying somebody in this rate, considering all the circumstances what's going on. So, all right, let's see here. Is Joe Burrow a must start from now on? I mean, tell me who your options are, but I think he's been putting up QB1 numbers. But believe it or not, Justin Herbert's been balling a little bit better than him. So if Herbert's still available in your league, you probably should absolutely go after him. Don't let him, the fact that he's struggling to win games, blur you from the fact that in one of the leagues that I'm in, he's the 11th best quarterback in fantasy, and he didn't play 2 games. He had a bye, and he didn't play week 1. Burrow Cam, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow. Never thought I would say that, but, Cam started good, but now we're at that point where I don't know if I could trust Cam Newton season long. You should get Curtis Samuel if Corey Davis is already taken. Corey Davis is my number 1 waiver wire pickup for this week if you need a wide receiver. It's Corey Davis if he's available. He might not be available in your league, but if he's available, Corey Davis is your guy. Let's see here. Corey Davis is an option. If you got a little bit of time, you can look into Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb is an interesting pickup for this week. Whoever the running back is going to be for Green Bay. Green Bay is down to their 4th and 5th string running backs at this point. So that's an option too. Bear with me for 1 second. I like DJ Dallas as an option. Miami's defense. I still think Miami's defense is a streamer. It's a streaming defense. Like I don't think I would start Miami's defense every week. But Corey Davis is my top guy. J.K. Dobbins is up there as well for running backs. Dobbins, Dallas, DJ Dallas, and Hasty are my top 3 running back options. Damien Harris, if he's still available, he's an interesting pickup for you as well, if that's what you want to get into for a running back. Zach Moss, if he's available, try to get him. Gus Edwards, if he's available, try to go and get him. Wide receiver-wise, Corey Davis is probably your viable option. All right. Our air fryer died. We had to get a new one. Yeah, absolutely. You add Dobbins. And Dobbins is available. Dobbins might not be as available as Gus Edwards. Mark Ingram seems like he's going to be out for a little bit. So you're still going to have a two-headed monster in Baltimore. So if Dobbins is there, you might be able to start him. If Gus Edwards is there, you might be able to put him as a flex. But that's the best I'm going to get. So yeah, if Dobbins is available, go get him. But believe it or not, in most of the leagues that I'm in, Dobbins is already taken. And Edwards is around. Edwards is on my list. Gus Edwards is on my list too. Damian Harris is getting that work in New England. He might be a worthy pickup. Now, I think, considering all the circumstances, what's going on with the Patriots, I think Harris has kind of figured out his role. So it's going to be a roller coaster ride because it's the Patriots with regards to how they handle their running back situation. But I highly recommend if Damian Harris is around, you should go after him. I'm still not a big advocate of the 49ers backfield, but if you are, Jermichael Hasty, if he's around, you should go for it. DJ Dallas for Seattle, he's a good pickup. A lot of folks didn't take advantage of it. Chris Carson might be out again. Carlos Hyde might be out again. You might as well take your chances and wait it out. Zach Moss might be overtaking that job from Devin Singletary in Buffalo, so that's an option for you as well. Well, now Taylor's struggling right now, man, and his struggles is Nyheim Hines' gain. So in the PPR league, Nyheim Hines is a pretty good option. He's available in a lot of leagues. When you want to talk about other situations, tight end, Robert Tanyan is still around in a lot of leagues. Jordan Reid is the backup for San Francisco. Looks like George Kittle is out for the year. They said he was out for 8 weeks. There are only 9 weeks left in the regular season. So, he's going to be out for at least through week 16. And if that is the case, you need to go ahead and try it. If you need tight end help, Jordan Reid is available in a lot of leagues. So, Jordan Reid is an option for San Francisco, to say the least. For wide receivers, it goes Corey Davis, Curtis Samuel, in that order. If you need something next week, if you're desperate and you need something next week that might be a little bit more dependable, like if there's a bye week type of thing and you're short on wide receivers, if you know shit needs to start somebody this week, if Corey Davis is there, Corey Davis is your guy. If he's not there, Darnell Mooney is ahead of Curtis Samuel to me if you need somebody to start next week. So let's be clear on that. Waiver wire wise, throughout, typically I pick based on options for the remainder of the season. Corey Davis would be number 1 in that. Curtis Samuel would be number 2 right now based on the availability. If you need somebody to start week 9, Corey Davis is still my number 1 on that. Darnell Mooney for the Chicago Bears is number 2. All right. No. Jamal Williams isn't playing. He has COVID. Or he's on the COVID list. I don't think he has COVID. But I have to double check that. But he's not playing this week. And the Packers game is Thursday night. They've already ruled Jamal Williams out. So, when you start thinking, CMC you're going to start. And you might not have no choice but to start Mike Davis. I recommend checking the waiver wire and see if there's other running backs available. With regards to Jonathan Taylor, let's revert back to the Jonathan Taylor question that Grandizer asked. Jordan Wilkins is the option to pick up this week. Is Jordan Wilkins a guy that I want to start this week? No. But it's a guy that I'm willing to pick up and wait and see. Because if Jonathan Taylor keeps coming on a decline, Jordan Wilkins is going to have some level of takeover of that job. But that also goes back to what I said about Nyheim Hines. Nyheim Hines has a role in the Colts offense, okay? He has a role. He is the pass-catching running back. So when the Colts are behind, Nyheim Hines is in. So he has a role. He has low-end flex appeal that you could potentially start in a PPR format. So if you need help at running back and you want something that's potentially a little more consistent, you're not sure what's going to happen between Jonathan Taylor and Jordan Wilkins, Hines is probably a safer bet out of the 3. But Hector, back to your question about CMC. No, if you have Dalvin Cook, you keep Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook is the number 1 running back in fantasy right now. You keep Dalvin Cook. Unless somebody is giving you Dalvin Cook, then yes, you take Dalvin Cook from somebody. But if you have Dalvin Cook, you keep Dalvin Cook. And it goes back to the story that I had about Dalvin Cook and the situation regarding the trades that I was getting when I started my season 0-6. And I refused to give Dalvin Cook up if I didn't get the adequate value. And I never got the adequate value, so I kept Dalvin Cook. And Dalvin Cook had 4 touchdowns on Sunday. And people were like, well, some guy was like, well, what would have happened if you would have traded Dalvin Cook? And I was like, I would be 1-7 because I wouldn't have won this week with the people that were offered to me. So Dalvin Cook single-handedly won me the week in one of my leagues this week. I didn't win all of them. I lost one. The only one I lost was in the Panther Nation podcast league. I won all my other ones. I went 4-1 this week. Best week I've had so far this week. I haven't gone 5-0 yet all season. But I went 4-1 in my 5 leagues that I'm in. So I can't complain. So Hector the Legend. Oh yeah, but the thing is, I don't think somebody's gonna take that, man. Unless you found a Steelers fan that wants Chase Claypool bad, because Chase Claypool didn't do too much this week. So I don't know if you're not gonna get Dalvin Cook for that. Dalvin Cook's gonna. I'm gonna tell you what it's gonna cost you to get Dalvin Cook, which is why most folks aren't gonna be able to trade him. Dalvin Cook is gonna cost you a top 10 running back to trade to get Dalvin Cook. You're gonna have to give up a top 10 running back and a top 15 wide receiver. Probably a top 10 wide receiver. Anything below that, you're not getting enough for Cook. Period. Anything below that, you're not getting enough for Cook. Bottom line. And that's what I was looking for when I wanted to trade Cook, and nobody was willing to give it. So I'm like, well, I'm keeping him. Because if Dalvin Cook could win, like, if I traded Dalvin Cook to somebody that's contending for the championship, that pretty much could be his league winner. Dalvin Cook could be his league winner. But so you have to give something to get him. Teddy Bridgewater against the Chiefs this week. He's going to have to sling it. Give me a like, man. You're going to have to give up. You're going to have to give up. There's no way somebody's going to take that trade, Slim. Terry McLaurin ain't enough. Terry McLaurin ain't enough for Dalvin Cook, buddy. Everybody's going after Dalvin Cook and not wanting to pay what needs to be paid to get him. But Terry McLaurin ain't enough. Not right now. The man just dropped 48 points. Truth be told, he's probably worth a top five running back. You forgot the hashtag, Rashad. And Rashad did his part 1 on our roster build. So check it out. He just released it right before I went live. You got to give up more than Travis Kelce for Dalvin Cook, bro. You got to give up more than Travis Kelce. Not enough. It's not enough. Not enough. Like, let me explain to you why it's not enough. Because I think folks need to understand why it's not enough. So give me 1 second. Let me pull up my sheet. Let me pull up my screen real quick. Bear with me for a second before I change my view. So get the browser up where I need to go. All right. Because it's not enough, man. It's not enough. Y'all have to understand. I mean, but the thing is, Tony, man, like, some people are willing to take it. I'm just not it. I'm not that guy. I'm not, like, I can't give up that much and get so little. I know how much he's worth. All right, let's flip this. Hopefully it'll work. I'll put it in the right spot. And all right, let me up this a little bit. Let me move me over here. Put me right here. Blow me up a little bit. There we go. All right. Let's see here. Try to get my. All right, let's do them. Let's do this real quick. Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen, as I get the proper setup here. All right, this will work. All right, now let's get into it. Let's pull up our league. Let's pull up our league. I lost again. It's brutal. This is very brutal. All right. So when we look at players, I think you guys got to understand my perspective a little bit. Let's do all. This is our league, PPR league. Position rank. Let's do running back. Position rank. That's weird. Let's do fantasy points then. All right, there we go. All right. Oh, you guys still can't see. That's not good. Let me do that one more time. Okay. And let's move this over just a tad this way. All right. Fantasy points. Dalvin Cook is number 2. Dalvin Cook has missed 2 games. He was hurt in 1. Pull him up real quick. He was hurt in 1. No, that's not what I want. He was hurt in 1. He didn't play in Atlanta. And he had the bye week. So he only played 6 games. All right. He's the second best running back in fantasy. All right. Now, if you go back to his average, he's averaging 27 points. 27 points a game, which is 2. Which is second out of all players. I know you're thinking Christian McCaffrey, but Christian McCaffrey hasn't played in weeks. But when he was in, he was averaging 26.7. So he's second in the league, and he's ranked second in fantasy points for that position. So you got to pay. You got to pay for Dalvin. Yeah, man. I wish I was in your league, Hector. There's no way. Ertz is going to be gone for a while, man. So if you need the roster spot, I'm fine with you dropping him. I mean, I don't think somebody's going to pick him up immediately. Yeah, Hector, you came up big, bro. You're 0-7? Yeah. What's a trade that I would consider? They don't know. Eckler is looking like... All right, let's start with the Eckler question, then I'll get back to the trade I would consider. Eckler is going to be on the far end of what it takes to come back. So Eckler might have another 2 or 3 weeks before he can come back. I think the running back situation in Los Angeles for the Chargers is kind of murky. I mean, well, it's looking like Justin Jackson is taking over the job, but you still got Josh Kelly there. When Eckler returns, you would hope that Eckler gets the job outright, but depending on how fast he comes back, it could be a situation where Justin Jackson's still going to be in the mix. So it all depends. Chiefs defense or Washington's defense? Washington's defense. Washington's got a vicious front 4. I mean, and Chiefs-Panthers is going to be 50 points. 50.5 is the over-under for that game. Now back to the trade. All right, Dalvin Cook, the second best running back in fantasy. Oh, look who's 5th. This is hilarious. Look at that. Look who's 5th. Look at the top 10. Do you see this? Do you see this? Look at the top 10. Look at this. Look at this. Now, some of these players haven't had a bye yet either. But look at this. Has James Robinson had a bye yet? Because if he did, it's gonna change the perspective a bit. His bye is happening this week. So, look at this. Actually, wait a minute. Did I read that wrong? No, his bye was last week. He's 5th. James Robinson, 5th. 5th. It's pretty good. So, but, and Mike Davis is sitting here being 8th. So, the point I'm pulling this up for Slim because I said I want a top 10 running back and a top 10 to 15 wide receiver. So these are the top 10 running backs right here. These are your guys. These are your guys. All right. So now when you look at these 10, for the sake of, we'll eliminate Mike Davis because he's about to lose his position. So we'll add Josh Jacobs to the discussion here. Okay. We'll eliminate Mike Davis. Probably, so out of these guys, you got to think about all the players that could potentially be returning. All right. So Dalvin Cook for Alvin Kamara is probably the only straight up trade I would do that doesn't require anybody else. If you do Cook and Henry, it'll be tough because Henry is starting to be on a little bit of decline. So you could probably have it. You probably could. I don't know. I wouldn't do straight up Dalvin for Derek. I probably would say Derek and a wide receiver 2 type of thing. I gotta play Drew Lock this week in one of my leagues. So who did the Dolphins play this week? I don't know who the Dolphins are playing. Aren't the Dolphins playing the Redskins? The team, excuse me. Have it. The team. Who are the Dolphins playing this week? Let me check. I think they are playing the team. Nope, I stand corrected. They're not playing the team. The Giants are playing the team. The Dolphins are playing the Cardinals. Nah, I ain't doing that. I would start. Yeah, I'll start Parker. Yeah, I know Gaskins is hurt. I know that much. Yeah, I'll start Parker over AB. Wait and see what AB does. But back to Slim's question. So, Derrick Henry, you're gonna probably add like a low end, a wide receiver 2 with him. Ezekiel, you definitely got to give me a top 10 running back with it, top 10 wide receiver with him. I don't think Zeke's the same guy, man. I don't. My opinion. I don't. James Robinson, once again, I'm going to need a top 10 guy. Kareem Hunt, I definitely need a higher level wide receiver for him. Gurley, I wouldn't do it. Mike Davis, no. Aaron Jones, no. Edwards-Helaire, no. Josh Jacobs, maybe, but I'm going to need a top 10 wide receiver. Now, when you look at the wide receivers, all right, here's the top wide receivers in fantasy right now. Look at this. Tyler Lockett. 2 out of the 3 top wide receivers play for the Seahawks. Lockett, Metcalf. So, Tyreek Hill needs to be, you probably could do Tyreek Hill on one of those running backs. Adams, tough sell. Won't be hard to convince somebody to pull Adams away from you. Would not do it for Amari Cooper. Allen Robinson, I would do it. If I can get one of these Seattle receivers, that'll be optimal. Like maybe if somebody doesn't think it's gonna be a long-term thing, if I can get Hopkins, that'll be great. But I don't envision it. Tyreek, you might have a shot because he can occasionally be boom or bust, depending. Robert Woods, I just traded for Robert Woods that last week. I traded for Robert Woods, and you'll laugh about who I traded him for. I'll let you guys debate how you feel about it. I would play Breida this week. He's going to have the bulk of the carries. Like Breida, the Breida game is more about the fact that he's going to get the bulk of the work. So when you have a running back, that's potentially going to get the volume, then I'm intrigued. Even if it's Breida, I mean Breida has a chance to get 20 carries, and if you're a running back that has a chance to get 20 carries, I'm interested, regardless of who you are. But he has a legitimate shot to get 20 carries this week, with Gaskins being out. Gaskins could potentially be out. If Gaskins is out, Breida is an interesting pickup. Interesting play. Potentially a top 20 play for next week. Robbie, I'm going to let y'all hear this one. I traded for Robert Woods last week for Drew Brees. I sent Drew Brees. I received Robert Woods. And people are like, why would you trade Drew Brees? First thing people probably thought in the league was like, why would you trade Drew Brees? I was like, because I got Justin Herbert, and Justin Herbert is balling. He's balling from a fantasy perspective, and I'm fine with that. He's getting more points than Drew Brees. CMC could get 150 total yards this week. So, like... Oh, well, because his quarterback was Tannehill. So he wanted Brees. And I was pleased to give it to him. Had no problem giving it to him. Brees was my starter, man. Brees was my starter. The funny thing is, this is the keeper league, and I made the decision to send Josh Allen back to the draft and not keep him, and that backfired on me. I was thinking I could go get Josh Allen back in the draft, and that didn't work out. So I had to settle for Brees. Yeah, I traded Brees for Robert Woods. Because the guy was like, what do you want for Brees? And I said, because the thing is, and this is the strategy that you guys should consider too. If the quarterback that you know that you're going to have for the remainder of the season, if he's past his bye, and you, for some reason, still have two quarterbacks, you should trade away the one that you know you're not going to play anymore. And that's what I did. I made the decision that Justin Herbert is going to be my guy for the remainder of the season. I no longer needed Drew Brees. And instead of dropping Drew Brees, I tried to trade him. And it worked out. The guy was like, what do you want? And I said, I know you're not going to give me Aaron Jones. I know you're not going to give me this guy. Give me one of these receivers. And he said, I'll give you Robert Woods. And I'm like, bet. We had to wait until Monday night for him to accept the trade because that week the Rams had a Monday night game. So once Robert Woods was in the clear, he accepted the trade. I had my guy by Friday. All was well in the world. Now, granted, he probably thought, well, man, I ain't going to be able to use Robert Woods because he got to buy, but I'm fine at wide receiver. But that league, you got to start 5 receivers, right? So my receivers are pretty good. I got DeAndre Hopkins, Justin Jefferson, Travis Kelce, because it's 3 out of the 5 wide receiver spots you can also start a tight end. Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, I think Amari Cooper, Justin Jefferson. So then now I add Robert Woods to the mix, so I can get away with just not having a bye. DeAndre Hopkins just had his bye last week, so Hopkins is in there for the rest of the season. Yes, you play Tyreek Hill against us. Absolutely, you play Tyreek Hill against us, Hector. Yeah, man. When he offered Woods, I'm like, oh, I'll take Woods, thank you. But he needed a quarterback. See, the thing is, at this point, you got to start thinking past just next week. You got to start thinking for the remainder of the season. And for him, he had a lot of receivers, and he was willing to give one up. And he didn't trust Tannehill. So that's how come that went down. I'm not a fan of the San Francisco backfield, Eddie, and I've been harping that for weeks. Like, I mean, if you gotta start them, you gotta start them, but I'm not a fan of them. Well, now the quarterbacks the quarterbacks in that league is kind of rough. Even though somebody just dropped Cam Newton and Ben Roethlisberger's there too. So there's that. But here are the quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes has overtaken Russell Wilson, but I believe Russell Wilson had a bye. He did have a bye. I don't think Mr. Mahomes has had a bye yet. Nope. His bye is after Carolina game. Now you notice if you look at this list, there's somebody that was taken early that doesn't have as many points. I always harp about not taking quarterbacks early. Lamar Jackson is underperforming where you're taking him, ladies and gentlemen, and he's already had his bye. He's not performing at the level that you took him as. Most folks took Lamar Jackson as the number 1 quarterback. All right? He's busting right now based on the position that folks were taking him. Mahomes isn't. Russell is a steal. Kyle was a steal. Josh Allen was a steal. Brady was a steal. I was wrong about Brady. I dropped Brady in the league a few weeks back. I was wrong about Brady. I got to own up to that. I was wrong. But it's okay. Herbert's ahead of Lamar Jackson right now. And Herbert wasn't drafted in some leagues. Let that marinate for a bit. This guy was not drafted in a lot of leagues. Wasn't drafted in most leagues because Tyrod. So, and he's already had his bye. He didn't play 1 week, and he's still sitting as the 12th best quarterback in fantasy in this league. So, yeah. Yeah, so like I always, and the thing is, the guy that went after Tannehill's ranked pretty high, but the quarterback league is kind of different. The other league where I traded Drew Brees to get Robert Woods, the quarterbacks are very important. You get points for attempts, you get points for completions, I believe. You lose a lot more points for interceptions. You get bonuses for the amount of yards that the quarterback throws for. So it's different. All right, let me make sure. Yeah, like there's some player Hector's learning the game. So there's some players where you always start regardless of matchup, regardless of fandom. And I will name some of those players for you. Let's start with the quarterbacks. These Mahomes, Russell, Kyler, Josh, Brady, Rodgers, Watson, Tannehill, Ryan, Burrow, Herbert, and Lamar. You start them regardless. I skipped Wentz for a reason, because I have Wentz in one of my leagues, and I'm not convinced. I'm not fully convinced. Now, as for running backs, regardless of matchup, again, like this is where the whole discussion about being cute. These are not situations where you are cute. All right, Kamara, Cook, Henry, Zeke, but Zeke is scaring me a bit. I will admit, Zeke is scaring me a lot. But still, Zeke, Robinson, I'm still rolling with Robinson, man. I'm gonna keep him in. He's worthy. Kareem, with the caveat, as long as my boy Nick, my guy, can't remember his name because he's been hurt. Chubb, as long as Chubb is not around, you keep starting Kareem. Gurley, yeah, I guess. Jones when he's here, yes. Jacobs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, monitor the Bell situation. Connor, yes. Jones, Fournette, You can start Montgomery. Carson when he's back, yes. Mixon when he's back, yes. Gaskins, he's out. Taylor, I'm worried about him. Everybody else, you gotta play matchups. Like everybody else, you're talking RB2 flex status for these guys. Wide receivers, same thing. Every week you play Lockett. Every week you play Whitley. Every week you play Metcalf. You play Hopkins. You play Hill. You play Diggs. You play Adams. You play Boyd. You play Robinson. Cooper. I'm getting nervous. You play Robinson. You play Anderson. You play Woods. You play Thielen. You play Allen. You play Coop. You play Cup. DJ. Yeah, considering the circumstances, DJ is ranked the 16th best wide receiver in fantasy. They no buy yet. Mclaren, you start every week. DJ bothers me a lot. When you talk about averages, he's down here. He's down here, man. He's pretty low. I mean, you got to start two, so I guess it's not too bad, but I mean, DJ Moore is the 16th best wide receiver in fantasy, so I guess you should be starting him. He's very wishy-washy, man. He's 16th off the strength of like 2 games, in essence. He's 16th off of this, and that. I mean, we're talking out of 8 games, half of them he didn't hit 10 points. That's not wide receiver 1 status in my eyes. So, and that's why he's in the 2. But I prefer folks that are a little bit more consistent. So let's look at Allen Robinson. That's a good sample size. Look at this. Double digits in all his games but 1. I prefer a guy like that from a fantasy perspective because I know his floor is 10 points and his ceiling is potentially 30. I want high floor guys. So I can't be mad at that. But let's look at Terry McLaurin. He got less points than DJ. But I think he also had his bye week. So he's got less points than DJ. He only had 1 single-digit game. 1 against the Rams. Everything else, 11 and above. That's a guy I'd rather start over DJ. That's what I'm talking about. Do we have a chance at an upset? I mean, no. If you want me to be honest, no, we don't. We're not beating the Chiefs. I don't think we're beating the Chiefs. Rashad doesn't think we're beating the Chiefs. He just thinks it's going to be closer. I don't think we're beating the Chiefs. So, I mean, Steph Diggs. Let's look at Steph Diggs. Double digits every game. That's why he's top 6. But, I just traded for Robert Woods in that league. He has 2 single-digit games. I'd rather have Woods, right? I'd rather have Woods, over DJ Moore. He's getting target distribution. He's getting some decent targets. So, that's where I'm at, man. Will Fuller is performing better than DJ Moore based on double digits. Problem is, the only issue I have with Fuller is this right here. He's had a touchdown in 5 straight games. That can't sustain. You take those touchdowns away, it's a different ball game, right? I prefer to have players that get the target share and executes based on the target share. I don't like TD dependent guys. I know everybody chases the TDs, but TDs are unpredictable. Kind of hard to figure out who's going to be getting these touchdowns. So when it comes to players that I want folks who are getting the target share. So 11 targets, I want guys who are getting this weekly. 7-8 targets ain't too bad, but the problem is that he's got a lot of these touchdowns. So if you remove the touchdowns, because that's what I do, 9. Dang, man, my math is terrible today. 16, 9.8, that's 10 pretty much. 18, 6.5. So when you remove the touchdowns, it's not as good. But you got to take those things into account. Julio Jones is ranked below him. He's 19th. But consider that Mr. Julio Jones has missed 2 games. And other than those, and the thing is, he played hurt week 2. He took a week off. He played hurt again week 4. He took a week off. When healthy, the guy's an animal. So, Yeah, that's brutal, man. T.Y. and Ingram, that's brutal. CeeDee Lamb. Yeah, with the new quarterback, man, CeeDee Lamb is borderline droppable at this point. He was doing great until Prescott got hurt, and that changed everything. This guy right here, though, man, I like this guy a lot. Justin Jefferson, I like this guy a lot, man. And he's just as consistent as DJ Moore, but you know the difference between Justin Jefferson and DJ Moore? He's a rookie. This guy's a rookie. He hasn't been in the league that long. First year of the league, So for him, that's not that bad, AB for Chubb. If somebody's willing to do it, I'll do it. Chubb's coming back soon. I'll do it. We don't know what AB is going to be, guys. He's probably going to be great, don't get me wrong. AB being on the Bucks affects Chris Godwin tremendously. So, All right. Enough about wide receivers. Tight ends, there's only 3 that you start every week. Well, no, 2 really. No, 3. Well, Kelsey, Waller, Hockenson, Andrews. Those are probably the 4. Tight ends are always a mess. You can tell by the points. Kelsey is above and beyond everybody else. Above. Look at this. Look at. Wait, did Waller have his bye yet? Waller had his bye yet. But still, even if he played that game, he probably would get 20 points. If you go off his average, he would have gotten 14 points. So you're talking 13 points. This guy is 13 points ahead of everybody else. Dog, this is why tight ends, you can wait. Let's look at some of the tight ends that are ranked high. Hockenson. Look at Hockenson. Draft 107 overall by Noli. 9th round. 9th round pick by Hockenson to Hockenson. 4th best tight end in fantasy. And we'll pass Kittle because Kittle's pretty much done at this point. All right. Kelsey is the only guy that is exhibiting the value. You had to take him in the second round. Kelsey's the only guy that's popping the value. Now, granted, that being said, he's not really giving second round numbers. He's just an elite tight end. It gives you an advantage every week. You can't be mad at that. All right, Mr. Waller. Where was Waller drafted? 6th round. That's pretty good value. Second best tight end in fantasy. What about Robert Tanyan? Where was he drafted? He wasn't drafted at all. He was a waiver wire pick. Good waiver wire pick. Hayden Hurst. Where was he drafted? 10th round. 10th round. So, those are the breaks. Mark Andrews. He's 7th. Not too bad. But he was taken in the 5th round. Not too bad. Can't complain. But tight ends are always a mixed bag. Which is why I say, unless you get Kelsey, you need to wait. You should wait. Jared Cook. Jared Cook, 12th best tight end in fantasy. 9th round pick. Dalton Schultz, 10th best tight end in fantasy. Look at all these transactions. Waivers. Wasn't drafted. All right? Noah Fant, my guy. High hopes for him. 11th round. All right? Now, if we do this for quarterbacks, y'all might cry. Pat Mahomes. You know what? I never am an advocate of taking a quarterback in the first round. This might actually work out for Mr. Coltrane. This might work out for Pat. All right? But let me tell you something. Russell Wilson's right behind him. And he was taken in the 7th round. So, And then if you go to Kyler was taken 6th round. I think that was a reach. But still, compared to Mahomes, I mean, you're not that far away from him, man. You're only talking, and Kyle's averaging more, and so is Russell Wilson. They're both averaging more than Mahomes, right? And look at my boy Herbert. Look at my boy Herbert with that average. He's 12th, but look at him. All right, look at Josh. Where was Josh Allen drafted? I took Josh Allen in the 11th round. I took him in the 11th round. 4th best quarterback in fantasy football. All right? I mean, of course, you can say that he's worth it, and I would tend to agree. But my big thing is this. Josh Allen is the 4th best quarterback in fantasy. He has 30 points less. We'll round it up just for the sake of the math. 30 points less than Patrick Mahomes. After 8 weeks, that equates to... And did the Bills have their bye yet? Let me check something. Did the Bills have their bye yet? They haven't had their bye yet. Just like Mahomes. So now it's a fair comparison. So you had 30 points less after 8 weeks. So you're talking a little over 3 points less a game. I took him in the 11th round. 11th round. All right? 11th. 123rd overall. Took him in the 11th round. Coltrane had to take him in the first round. It's about value. Who had the better value? Me. Easily. Not even close. I mean, if we go to Aaron Rodgers, he's the 5th best. 12th round. And we're gonna take this guy out the league next year too. Because he ain't watching his roster, so he's gonna have to go. Yeah, I would have dropped. Kittle's droppable, especially if you have Kelsey already. Trade Keenan Allen or Tyler Lockett for Miles Sanders and Chase Edmonds. I would try to trade Allen if I could. I mean, but considering your situation, I mean, I would pull the trigger on either way, Alex, because you really need a running back situation. You need running backs. Although, is it a guarantee that Miles Sanders is coming back this week? Because if not, then it ain't really helping you that much. But there you have it, man. Here's another one, man. Lamar Jackson's 13th. And he's already had his bye, so take that into account. 4th round. So, it's all about getting your value. Oh, this is gonna be funny. Let's see. That makes sense. That makes sense. James Robinson. That's the one that's special, man. Fifth best running back in fantasy. Waiver wire pickup. Fifth best running back in fantasy. Sitting on waivers. Wasn't drafted. And shouldn't have been drafted. But that's what I'm talking about right there. You can get value anywhere, bro. Well, we know what happened with Mike Davis. We know Mike Davis wasn't drafted. So, but, you know. All right. Just because they're 1-7, Hector, doesn't mean they don't have bite. Don't let the record fool you. I'm 0-6 in the league, and people are afraid to play me. I started 0-6, and people are afraid to play me now. I'm 2-6 now. All right? Next week is looking kind of rough. I will admit. Next week is looking kind of rough. I got to go find a quarterback. I think I have a plan, but I'm going to have to drop 2 players because this guy's going to have to go out and get off the IR list. And I got to go pick up a defense because I can't play Bills defense against Seattle. But I got to get a quarterback. And if you want to talk about quarterbacks, quarterback situation kind of rough around the edges in here. My best case scenario at this point is Tua, which I might consider. Rivers got a bad matchup. I can't do it against Baltimore. I'm leaning towards Mr. Locke. I'm leaning towards this guy. Leaning towards Mr. Locke. He plays Atlanta. Maybe it'll be a shootout. Forces him to slang. That's what I'm leaning towards right now. I'm leaning towards Mr. Locke. Like, I only need 14 points out of my quarterback. So, Cam's been getting dropped in some of the leagues that I'm in, man. You could drop him. I would love to trade Godwin, but I know I'm not going to get enough for him. They're gonna based on this league on what I was getting for Dalvin Cook. I know I'm not gonna get nothing for Godwin, but I would love to trade Godwin away. Looks like DJ Moore's gonna get another start, man. So he better show up, otherwise I'm gonna give him more of this heat. Cause whenever I start this guy, let me tell you what happens to me when I start this guy. This is what happens when I start this guy. This is what happens when I start this guy. This is what happens when I start this guy. All right, so not helping me at all. You shouldn't lose with that roster, Hector. You got a pretty dang on good squad. So and let me tell you something, man. I was sitting in a very good situation going into the Monday night game, but then this happened. Look, show up the scoreboard. This right here, this tie right here, 116 to 116, that's gonna ruin my playoff chances. I needed this guy to lose, because then if that guy would have lost, there would have been a 4-way tie for 4-4. I would have been 2 games out of the final playoff spot. With that tie happening, I need one of these guys to lose 3 out of their last 4, and then I got to outscore everybody. I got to have more points than everybody else. And my point total is starting to pick up. I'm starting to chip away at the point total. I'm not too far away. I'm not too far off from getting near the top 4. I'm less than 30 points away with 4 games to go. But that is brutal. You don't understand how brutal that was. That TD pass by Mike Evans, which was given up by James Bradbury. That was painful. So yeah, man, it's interesting. I still think I have a chance to make the playoffs, but now it's tougher. So now at this point, the magic number, if I lose one more game, I'm out. I can't lose no more. Before the tie, I had some level of wiggle room. Now I have none. If I lose one more game, I am eliminated. I am mathematically out of making the playoffs. Because there's no way anybody above me can get 7 losses. That's in the top 4. Not happening. So, I can't afford to lose any more games. Well, unless they lose them out. But even if somebody above me lose the next 4 games, hold on, wait a minute. No, I can still make it, but that's not likely at that point. It's already not likely it's going to be 3 out of 4. I saw the scoreboards, man. I saw what happened with More Life. If More Life has a winning record and makes the playoffs, I'm gonna pull them out and put the next guy up in. I already said that. So let's see. I'm playing Noli this week. Oh, Noli, man, I gotta take you out this week, man. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna pull this off. I'm having a rough season in this league, man. It's been rough. More Life is 5-3. More Life ain't gonna. I'm not gonna allow him in the playoffs if he stays that high. Coltrane got a shot to win this joint, man. He's scoring a lot of points. I will say. But all the guys near the top, other than More Life, is paying attention to the rosters, though. So it looks like the top 6 guys. Other than More Life, I'll probably put the 7th place person in if More Life keeps not paying attention. So know that you would technically be in the playoffs right now. Yep, 9-minute warning. 9-minute warning. Then I might do some streaming tonight, man. We'll see. Or maybe I'll have some fruit. So next week, I gotta get a win, man. I'm losing. Yo, this is bad. This is terrible for me. I'm 11th. Yo, this is brutal. I've lost like what, 5 straight? 4 straight? I've lost 4 straight. It's brutal, man. Same record as the other league that I lost 6 straight in. That's hilarious. Sometimes that's the way it goes. But yeah, man. We're going to have to get this guy out the paint. Let me see these points. I'm the 4th highest scorer in this league, man. I'm sitting here, but I've had the toughest schedule. Yep, toughest schedule, 4th highest scorer in the league. That's brutal. Can't do nothing about that. When you have this, if you're like top 3 or 4 in scoring, and then you got the toughest schedule, you can't do nothing about that. You just can't. Can't do nothing about it. Because your squad, it ain't your squad. Your squad's doing its part. Your squad's the 4th highest scorer. Can't do nothing about that. Just, those are the breaks. That's why, like, I'm an advocate of top scorer that misses the playoffs get the final playoff spot. But we'll see. I mean, we still got 5 more weeks, so, I mean, I'm not out of it yet, but it's not looking good, I will say. Well, not really out of it yet. What am I looking like? I'm only 2 games out of the last playoff spot. I'm only 2 games out. I got time. Because I want to jump a lot of you guys because of the scores. I'm outscoring pretty much everybody that's ahead of me. The only people I'm not outscoring are the top 3 folks. So I'm outscoring everybody else. So, it is what it is. Like, I'm outscoring from 4 to 10. I've scored more points than all of them. I'm just running into buzzsaws when I play my opponents. So I have another channel, Uncle Dave Podcast. Originally I was going to do a hip-hop podcast on it, but I've been doing more streaming. So I've been streaming mainly Switch games, old school stuff, new school stuff. When the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X come out next year, I'm going to stream that. Although I'm not going to have a game for the Series X. So I'm debating. I might work. I was going to take most of next week off. I'm probably going to come into work on Tuesday. I might telework on Tuesday and go from there. But alright, man. Let me see. I guess I'll pull up the Sleepers League real quick and show you like how crazy the quarterback scoring is in this league. Like Justin Herbert is a prime example, right? 41 points. I lost 2 points for interceptions. You get a point. You get 2 points for each 25-yard pass completion you get. You get points for every completed pass. You get points for rushing attempts. You get points for rushing yards. You get points for passing yards. And you get points for passing TDs. So Herbert's been throwing the ball a lot. 43 times. I mean, he's doing that every week. Drew Brees only does that when he's behind. He doesn't do that every week, which is why I decided to go roll with Herbert here. Next week's going to be a tough week, though, because, let's see, go to my team real quick. I'm starting Gibson and Jackson this week because of Jamal Williams. I don't know if he's got COVID or if he's on a list. He's a high-risk close contact of A.J. Dillon. Tyler Ervin and Dexter Williams are options if you need a running back badly, because those are pretty much the only 2 running backs in Green Bay. So if you need a running back badly, that's an option for you. But yeah, man, my wide receiver situation is pretty nice now. So I traded Robert Woods for Drew Brees. So I mean, Robert Woods only had 1 single-digit game this entire year so far. He's on bye this week, so we'll see how much he falls since he's got the bye. But overall, man, I can't complain. I have Fitz. I picked up Fitz right before kickoff. I'm gonna probably regret that decision because I'm probably gonna drop him to go after somebody else. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward. Like once Austin Eckler is ready, but it looks like he might not be ready for another 2 or 3 weeks. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got 2 more weeks. So the best case scenario, he comes back against the Jets, which would be very juicy. Very juicy. I don't see him coming back against Miami. So we'll see what happens with that. But nah, I mean, I gotta get it. This squad. This is like the. And by the way, guys, I don't know if I said this or not. I'm 6-2 in this league, which is impressive by itself. Good enough for second place. 3rd highest score in the league. So can't complain too much. But I need to find a quarterback. I have to go out the defense. When you look at my team, look at the players. Look at all these nice quarterbacks that are available. This league is more wide receiver heavy, so wide receivers are tough to come by. As you can see, Marvin Hall is interesting since Galladay's going to be gone a bit. Isaiah Ford is interesting because he's just got traded to the Patriots and they need help. I probably should have kept Mooney, but Fitz is doing okay considering the circumstances. But Mooney's starting to pick up some steam a little bit. So I mean, if you're trying to chase momentum, Mooney might be an option. Running backs, you only can start 2. So in my opinion, I already have a lot. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 running back, 5 if you count Eckler. I have 5 running backs, which is way too much. But I got Eckler. I got to drop, and I'm going to move Barkley to IR once Eckler's available again. So, depending on what happens with Eckler, if Eckler gets hurt again, he might be droppable for me for my keepers. Because at that point, my keeper running back is definitely going to be Saquon Barkley. For sure. Uncle Dave Podcast. Feel free to subscribe. I only got 2 subscribers because I ain't really trying to promote it like that. But typically I stream Twitch at ChampD1012. I stream live on my Facebook page, but only my Facebook friends see that, and I keep that very limited. Periscope on my ChampD page, and Uncle Dave Podcast. I'm assuming it's still working, so. But nah, I just play a couple video games here and there. But next week, once I get the new systems, I'm going to talk a lot about them. Sure. Just look it up on YouTube, man. I mean, some people, you know what, Slim Man? Some people auto draft and they're fine with it. I know a lot of folks auto draft. I had to auto draft a league before. I set my roster up. I set my list up. I typically don't like to do that, but I mean, sometimes, man, like when you're married, sometimes you got to make the proper sacrifices as needed. But all right. Nah, I'm going to keep Tony in. Tony is still competitive. Dude's won the league last year, so, can't get kicked out. I'm not going to kick him out. No, I wouldn't do that. I would pick up Herbert if you want him that bad. In a keeper league, I like Herbert a lot. I might end up keeping Herbert going into next year. I get to keep 5 players, so I might keep Herbert, but it all depends. I'm debating it, but I wouldn't draft. If you win, dude, winning is winning. Winning is winning, man. We had that. I mean, in one league, one of my money leagues a few years back, it was a $100 league buy-in. This young lady, she auto-drafted, but she managed her team, and she won the league. It happens. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, even if you auto-draft, you still got to manage the roster. So if you don't manage your roster, it's a moot point. You can auto-draft all you want. If you don't manage your roster, it doesn't matter. I mean, there's still more work past the draft. I mean, it's rare. It's rare that you don't make any type of moves and win a league. It's rare. It's very rare. You gotta draft because the thing is you gotta have the right breaks too. You gotta draft. You draft well. First you draft well, then you don't have injuries, and then you have buys into consideration. You're always making moves throughout the league. But all right, it is now 9:01. It is time to close out. Appreciate you guys coming. Follow me on Twitter at ChampD1012. Rashad will be live streaming on Sunday against the Chiefs. I will probably make an appearance with him. I will be doing my fantasy Q&A first thing Sunday morning at 11:30. I'll take some final Q&A last minute types decisions with regards to your roster then. And I will see you guys later. All right. Have a good one.